To have passion in life is everything.
What's your Everest?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
that 200-inch buck?
They just look so impressive when they're wide.
Especially running away.
Welcome to this week's episode of Eastmans Elevated.
It's like a think tank for outdoor activity.
Sounds exactly like my hunting. Just always thinking about it, always trying to evolve it and make it better.
Here's your host, Brian Barney.
Hey, what's happening, guys? So this is a continuation of the conversation, or I guess the solo episode that I was doing. I just went a little long. Imagine that. I'm always going long on those solo ones. I get off on these different tangents, but I love to share my current thoughts and feelings with you guys. And my thoughts and feelings, on that new release, there is no right and wrong. Guys make different releases work to be extremely accurate and to be extremely effective. And there's great shooters like John Dudley that can shoot a hinge release accurately at animals. And then, there's other great shooters, like one of the best shooters here in Montana is Rob Morgan. And he shoots hinges and thumbs and back tension releases, but chooses to hunt with a trigger because he can choose where it goes. And I'm just trying to always evolve my thought process to be the most effective hunter I can be. And I just have too many things I'm thinking about, and always in my mind is that good shot execution, and I'm constantly drilling that in. But a lot of times when you're shooting at animal, there just isn't time for that quality shot execution. Like sometimes, you need to take that shot when that animal stops or gives you that window of opportunity. And I also, I want it to become subconscious where, I shoot so much that it's second nature to me. And I just think with this trigger release, it's going to become more subconscious for me. So always improving, always trying to get better, but there's multiple ways to be successful and to be consistently successful. And we each have to find our own path. And for me, diving into archery and learning more about archery has taught me a lot. The shooting the back tension releases and the hinge releases and the thumbs have taught me so much and brought my archery to a higher level. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't, take the chance and learn these other releases and then be able to hunt with these other releases too. And I've been hunting with a thumb or a back tension release for probably the last 6 or 7 years, and I've had great success doing it. I'm just wondering if there's a better way out there for me. So that's why I'm trying to go back to this trigger release and trying to work with it more. And I'm just always trying to find the best way to be the most effective and make the most humane kills I can. So not to beat a dead horse on the release, here I am on the intro talking about it again. But anyways, we continue the conversation just about preparing yourself for next season. Again, this episode is brought to you by Eastmans, such a great company with the magazines, with the Beyond the Grid internet TV show, Eastman's Hunting TV on the Outdoor Channel, the podcast, you name it, we've got our hands in it. And there at Eastman's, we're always trying to evolve and get better, and we're always thinking about how we can make these platforms better. But just a great company. I really appreciate those guys' support. Let's get on with this. Let's continue the conversation about preparing for next season. Eastman's Elevated, another solo episode. Here we go. Shooting at 3D targets is so good. I got a new 3D target. Just, it's different trying to pick your place on a 3D target, that center of body, behind the shoulder. And so that's been really good. And it's realistic practice. And the deer target I have is about the size of a Coues deer. I'm always cheap, so I always buy the smaller ones that stop my arrows. I can't remember which one I've got now. But that's good. I'm practicing shooting at a Coues deer at all these different distances. So when a 300-pound muley stands out there, or an 800-pound elk, I'll be able to put that arrow right where I want it. And that's what I want to be this year. I want to be precise, quick, clean kills every shot. If I don't have 100% confidence in the shot, I'm not taking it. And you also, like, it's this fine line as we talk about releases, like, being patient and waiting for that right shot. And, I've learned that throughout the years too, like, and learned that lesson again, in Hawaii, is to not force arrows. Like, if there's a bunch of limbs, if there's grass in the way, you don't shoot, you wait. You just need to be 100% sure you can get that shot through there. And, if you force that shot, like you just don't get through the twigs that often. Like if there's twigs or if there's something in the way, it is tough to get through there. You're just better off to just wait for a better opportunity. And sometimes, the opportunity is fleeting, and all of a sudden you didn't take a chance and that animal gets away. But it just if you're patient and wait for the right shot, at least when you take that shot that you're going to hit that animal perfect. And so, I want to really focus on that this year, is making sure I get a good range, making sure I don't force any arrows. Like I don't try to force it in too tight of a window, too tough of an angle, too tough of a shot, too high degree of difficulty. Like just wait for a better opportunity. So I've got that bow all dialed in, sight tapes dialed, and then, just doing all the little things here for final preparation is, weighing all my arrows, making sure I don't have anything funny there. I'm also, as I'm shooting, now that my bow's dialed in, now I'm practicing uncomfortable shooting scenarios. Like I practicing shooting from my knees a bunch, sitting on my feet and raising up from my feet, shooting over the grass, shooting angles. I need to get out and shoot angles one more time with this bow and check third axis, but shooting steep angles, shooting off 1 foot, shooting off different terrain, just trying to shoot all these difficult shots that I know I'm going to get in the field. And also like paying a lot of attention, shooting a lot of 1 arrow groups. Go out in the morning before I leave for work, I shoot 1 arrow. Come home, I shoot 1 arrow. Or, the first arrow priority. Like if I'm going to go out and shoot a set at night, I put, I shoot a practice broadhead on my arrow, and I shoot the shot that I want to shoot, and that's my first shot. That's what's going to count when you're in the mountains. And so just putting a really high priority on that first shot and shooting a lot of 1 arrow groups, and just making sure my bow shoots really good cold, exactly where I want it to. And then just putting the focus on executing good shots. So yeah, that's my new theories on release. Shooting's been going great. Gosh, shooting every single day. The devil's in the details now, and so I'm 2 weeks till I leave from Caribou, and if I'm being completely honest, like I'm fighting this rest I have a little bit. I've got a few bows that I have set up, and so I have different rests on them, and so then, when I get a new bow, I'll either get, new accessories, or I'll pull accessories off a bow and stick them on, and so I used to use this one type of release, and the blade is pretty flat. It's a fall away rest, but the blade is pretty flat. Well, as I'm drawing back and the blade's coming up, picking up that arrow, the arrow wants to slide to the left-hand side. Now, I don't have any memory in my string or anything. It's just the way I draw back. The arrow wants to go to the left-hand side, and then as soon as I get to full draw, it slips back in the middle. So I've just got this arrow movement as I draw back, and I tried to fix it with putting a how would I put like a little rubber arrow keep on my riser, so when I draw back, it picks it up in the center. Well, the blade is just too broad with not enough angle in it, and so what I'm finding is like maybe 1 out of 200 shots will get stuck on the left, and I'll have to tilt my bow riser or shake it. And I've also noticed that now I'm just staring at this thing. Every time I draw back, my arrow comes up, it slides to the left hand side of this rest, and I'm making sure it's getting in the center. And there's even been 1 to 2 shots, I'd say, in the last, who knows, thousands, tens of thousands of arrows. But there's been 1 or 2 shots that I've shot that were not sitting in the center of that rest. The other bad thing is if the wind's blowing from, right to left, my arrow wants to go left on that blade, it won't let it fall back into place. Now, the only reason I know that is because I've fought this rest before, or I've dealt with that with this rest before, with a hard wind blowing from the left and having my arrow get stuck on the left-hand side. So basically, I just set this bow up with the wrong rest, and I set it up. I had another rest before that one that I was shooting when I went down to Arizona, because this is the new this year's new bow, the new Matthews. Gosh, it's not the Halon, it's the sure enough, I would put myself on the spot and try to think of the name of it, but the new Matthews, anyways. It's a great bow. I love the way it's shooting, but so I had another rest on it, and it was a rest that got sent, from Eastmans or whatever to use, and I put that one on, and I didn't like the blade. The blade made a noise. I tried changing out the blade. It just made some noise as I drew back, and I hate that drawback noise of any bow. It's horrible. One year I had a creak in my bow. You'll get a creak in your limbs where you got to take the limbs all the way out. I had like this giant 7-point bowl, 6x7 or 7x7 or something, but I got into range. Him and his cows didn't know I was there. I went to draw back on him, and I had a creak in my limbs, and that bull looked over at me, like all the elk looked over at me as it creaked, and it was a pretty quiet creak, but, it was in the morning, it was still, and I didn't end up killing that bull. He ended up spooking off before my shot broke or whatever. Can't remember. I think that's the way it went down. I think they all looked my way as I drew back, and I was starting to settle my pin, and I think they started to bust out of there, and cows ran in front of the bull, and then the bull took off, and I never got a shot at him because of creaking limbs. So anyways, I had this rest that was making noise, so took that off, scavenged from a different bow and got this other rest on there, and now I'm having those arrows slide to the left. Now maybe it's the, excuse me, sorry about that, guys. Maybe it's the new release or whatever, how it's drawn the arrow back. It's worse than the other release, or my arrow just wants to kink to the left. But, the devil's in the details in this stuff. So I'm 2 weeks away from leaving to Alaska. I'm going to tear apart that bow today, put a new rest on it, the rest that I prefer and like, that I can trust. I'm also going to go through my entire bow, look for any Allen wrench, Allen spots, make sure that I've got all my Allens tightened down, Loctite on the ones that I need Loctite on. It's just like these details. Shooting your bow, there's even the best bows have vibration and stuff can get loosened up. And I haven't had anything ruin my hunt, but I did have I've had my quiver before come loose where it wants to tilt on my bow, and I've had to taken it off, throw it in my pack. I've had my stabilizers come loose before, or not get threaded right, to where I've had to pull those off. I've had some things go wrong. I had the rock picas that chewed through my rest cable the one year that I had to reconnect. They also chewed through my string loop, had to tie another one of those on. So, I've had some things happen, but that's what I'm trying to do in this final preparation, is I'm trying to eliminate all that. So I'm going to put that new rest on, shoot that bow a bunch today. I also want to go back through, check my timing, check my tuning. I mean, my garage, it's been so hot around here. It's been 90 degrees. And, when I got this bow and set it up, when I first set it up for that January coos hunt, it was cold, and I keep my garage heated, but still 50 degrees, and outside you're shooting in 20, 30 degrees or below temperatures. And then I think when I set it up in the spring, it's 50 degrees. Well, string stretch, things move, things change. So I just want to check my timing on that bow one last time. I also want to check my arrow tune. The ultimate tell on tuning your arrows is that your broadheads fly right and hit in the same spot. But I feel like a bow that's well paper tuned and a forgiving tune as well is really important. When I'm tuning my bows, I'm making sure that every arrow through there is, so your paper tune shows if your arrow's flying straight or not. Well, I try to find a forgiving tune to where, almost every one is a perfect rip or close to a perfect rip, that I'm not getting any bad rips through paper. And it's just messing with it, getting that forgiving tune, I think really helps. So that way, if you torque your bow a little bit and release that arrow, the fletchings are going to correct the flight, and that arrow is still going to hit exactly where you want it to hit. And so I like to have a forgiving tune. I'm going to go back through that, tune my bow one last time, just make sure I've got the right tune in it. I've weighed all my arrows. Paired them up with different broadheads, that weigh the same, culled any bad ones. I'm shooting good practice arrows, got a bunch of new ones made up, couple dozen or more made up for the season. So good to go there. I can just replace a practice arrow. Don't got to worry about refletching it. But I got to get broadheads hooked up, spin tested on there. Might do that today, and just start getting this final preparation for season. So caribou hunt's going to be so fun. Just they're like a 400-inch antelope walking around out on the tundra. So I'm looking forward to that. Gonna fly out. See, I got talked physical fitness, the running, elevation has been key, and miles, and just getting my body ready for this exertion. I like the scouting trips too. When you run those in the high country, it seems like it's like a test run. You get to go live in the mountains, sleep in the mountains. So that's one of the things that I'm missing out on. I'll go do that elk scouting trip. But I've been to the mountains enough. Like I know what it takes, and then, I've got myself ready. Hunt research. Yeah, been going through my research in all these different spots, all the different locations I'm hunting. I'm trying to get ideas of where I want to walk and where I want to check out, and write them down in my hunt log. And so, like you start with this caribou hunt. I've got places where I saw caribou last year, and they say every year is different and the migration is different through there, but I've got different vantage points, different places I want to hike and go walk and go look for them, places that are away from the road, like places that not everybody can glass. I've got this big bluff I want to hunt. So I'm just trying to get as good a feel for that country as I can, and where I want to hunt, where I want to camp, where I want to glass, and what my daily plans are. Breaking down the Arizona hunt. Got a couple different mountain ranges that I like, and I'm just going to travel country in there and glass each and every basin. And it's important, like as you're moving through country and glassing, like one of the things that I want to focus on this year is that, just trying not to make any mistakes, not to ruin an opportunity before I get a chance. And one of the biggest things in your game is like your skyline approach. And your skyline approach comes into effect whether you're stalking and you're making your final approach on an animal, to not come over that ridgeline too fast or up too high, because you're exposed, because those animals can see. And so, it's about taking a step, like crawling to the edge of that, of the ridge, or the edge of that. That's not always the right way to do it either. Like, you don't have to crawl up there and then expose yourself. Sometimes that's, sometimes that is what you do for a shot, because you get as close as you can get, and then when you come up for the shot. But basically, when you're coming over a skyline, you just want to expose your eyes over there, and you want to go slow. And so coming over the skyline, whether you're in a final stalk of an animal or whether you're just coming over a skyline to glass a new basin, is you don't want to go hike all the way to the top and then sit down and glass it. What you want to do is you want to take a steps, and it'll expose the upper end of the basin and glass that upper end of the basin. Take a couple more steps, then you're glassing the next, 100 feet of the basin or 50 feet of the basin. And so what you're doing, like you're scrolling, each time you're exposing a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And this slow approach to ridge lines keeps you from exposing yourself and having those animals see you, and you never get a chance at them, or on the stalk. Like, it just makes sure that you're not going to come up over the top and miss that buck, expose yourself, and he's out of there. And so, I want to work on my ridgeline assaults, make sure I'm really making good ridgeline approaches on animals, and just making the right moves inside bow range. It's going to be so fun getting those opportunities. They're so thrilling. You hate to make mistakes, and so I'm just trying to think about everything, minimize my mistakes. But doing hunt research on that. Colorado I've been to. I know the drainages that'll be good, the vantage points that'll be good. I know where I'm camping, and then I know where I want to expand and places I want to explore, and I'm just gonna have a tag in my pocket in Colorado. And to be 100% honest, like I may not shoot a buck there, but I am gonna get the best experience I've ever had. I am gonna hunt high country mule deer by myself, solo in there, and I'm gonna look for a big one, like a mind-blowing mule deer, and it's a big mature one that is really difficult to find, really difficult to harvest, the highest degree of difficulty, and I want to try to accomplish it. So can't wait to go there and do that. Montana elk, still got a good scouting trip, but just making my plans for these places, plans and backup plans, and I'm just studying that onX like crazy, that the onX, the aerial imagery, the topography, the public-private, going on Google Earth, and then in the evenings, just constantly looking at these places and theorizing and thinking what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. So, just making that, like I say, it's just that final preparation. This is what we all live for. This is and what we've been thinking about all year and working hard towards, and So it's going to be fun to test our skills in the mountains. So let's see, we went through that. I kind of went through mental space and being happy and work, making sure I'm taking care of things. And then, I hired another guy, and then, I'm leaving my dad in charge, and I'm just going to leave him with the responsibility, take care of the things I need to take care of, let my clients know I'm going, and I'm just going to go hard. Like we get, I say it all the time, but we get one chance at this life. You got to try to be as happy as you can be. And we all have to work. We're working class. You have to make money and provide this quality of life for you and quality of life for your family. And that's really important. But it's also like us as humans, we're meant to have passion. We're meant to have things that thrill us, that drive us to be better, things that we can put all our effort into and challenge ourselves. We're meant to be challenged, and bow hunting's just been that thing in my life that I absolutely love. And so I just I want to be in the right mental space to enjoy it. I don't want to be stressing about work or about family or about anything. Like I get these days to hunt. I'm going to go enjoy them to the fullest and immerse myself in the hunt and be thinking about the bow hunt and how I'm going to arrow a big buck instead of thinking about how I'm going to get that house put together. And not that I'm going to neglect responsibilities or neglect anything, at the podcast or at Eastmans or any of that, but, you need your own time, and you need your time where you can focus and immerse yourself in the mountains. And then you come back from that and want to work so much harder at things. And so, I've got some podcasts recorded. I'm trying to line up some other ones here, and then, try to have some going into hunting season, and then just try to record some really good ones during hunting season. And whether that's, like this solo check-in every day, give you the update on the hunt, or like I'm thinking, like we've got so many guys going to Alaska, maybe doing a few different podcasts of getting on there and talking about the hunt, and then getting on there a couple nights later and doing another one and giving an update on it, but really trying to capture that excitement. And, when I'm on those hunts, I'm making those stalks and I'm making those close calls, that's when I'm my sharpest as well, as far as on the podcast, like relaying the information to you guys. Like it's so funny. Like I talk about those nuanced details of the stalk, and you guys will hear it in this Hawaii one coming up. It's so fresh in my mind that I just, my mind goes in overdrive of thinking of different theories and different ways to approach things and things I did wrong, things I didn't right. Like you want to be so proficient at your skill, or so proficient at the challenge that you're up against that you're just thinking about trying to evolve it and improve it all the time, And so I'm really sharp in the moment like that. And I evolve, or I adapt to the situation or to the environment. And when I adapt to it, it's like I have this revelation in my mind that, hey, I've got the secret potion, or I've got the answer to this problem. It's almost like it's this weird experience too. I was going to say it's like this psychedelic experience. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but it really is, because you can't get in that headspace unless you're there and in that moment to think about that exact thing. And then you learn this life lesson, or you learn this hunting lesson that's going to improve you so much at your skill, or at the thing that you love the most. But it's fleeting. Like you connect these dots, and then you go home and you get back to normal life, or you get back to work and family and important stuff, or you're on to the next bow hunt and thinking how you're going to prepare for that. That like these lessons can sometimes be fleeting, and you have to capture them and like write them down and think about them and try to improve from that. And so like that's, while I'm on these hunts, taking notes and recording podcasts to let you guys in on this, this next level awareness of the nuanced details of shooting at animals and stalking at animals, I think is so important. Like, I think it's something different that I can bring to the podcast world. So again, I'm getting way too hippie on this podcast, but it is like all of bow hunting is just learning from our experiences and getting better. And I just feel like when you're in the moment and you're on a hunt, you have these revelations, and those, those revelations are fleeting, or they're tough to catalog and bring importance to later. And it's really important to me getting better, and it's really important to you guys getting better to share that information, And so, yeah, I'm really excited to do these podcasts in real time with buddies, solo, whatever the case is. And then, just keep getting out this good information, having good guests on and recording good podcasts. But I'm ready to go focus on some hunting, that's for sure. So, see, we've went over mental space, talked about that. Game plan for hunts, we just talked about the game plan for them, and having your plan, backup plan, and I mentioned it early in this podcast, but being able to adapt to the situation that you're given, the circumstances that you're given, the animals that you're hunting, the actual terrain you're in. It's problem solving in that backcountry. You'd never write the script and go do exactly what the script that you set out. Very rarely. It's always getting there, and it's tougher than it seems for me, always. As I'm preparing right now and talking to you guys, I've got these great plans for these hunts and what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. And then you get there, and it's like a boxer being punched in the face. Everything changes. So, You have to adapt to the situation. You have to keep in the right headspace, keep that positive attitude, keep working hard towards your goals, keep enjoying every moment and every day, and enjoying the hard work that you're putting in and the grueling nature of the hunt and the challenge of it. And then you have to adapt. You have to adapt to what the animals are doing, where the animals are living. You have to adapt to the hunting pressure you face. You just have to keep adapting, and that's been the key to my success throughout all these years, and being consistently successful with my bow is I get there and I'm mentally strong, I'm physically in good shape, I'm a really good shot, and then I adapt to the situation I'm given. I just keep if I'm not finding animals, I keep traveling, I keep moving, I keep thinking, where are they at? Where can I find a quality buck? I'm not going to give up, and if I have to change mountain ranges, if I have to change trailheads, or if I have to keep going and I end up 20 miles from my truck, whatever it takes, that's what I'm in for. That's why I enjoy bow hunting. It's the ultimate challenge. And also, it's the ultimate achievement when you accomplish your goals, when you come out on top, because you know how much you have into it, all this preparation, and then all the hard work, all these miles I have in. I've been putting 60, 70 miles in a week trying to get ready, how many arrows I shoot, how much I think about bow hunting, preparing my family, spending time away, my wife, picking up the slack for me, being away from work, the job that provides this living that I am, that provides me the opportunity to bow hunt. I'm away from that. I've got everything in the game. And so then when I'm there, being able to adapt and trying to kill one of the hardest animals on four legs, their job is to keep themselves safe from predators, from mountain lions that are way sneakier than I am. To be able to accomplish that and to run a perfect arrow through an animal and to have it all come together, that's the ultimate for me. And then to be able to enjoy that organic protein throughout the year and share that with my family. We don't buy meat in my house, at least not very often. It's all wild game, and it is so good. It gets us through our winter and gets me through our year, and it's a way of life for us, is to provide this organic protein to my family. So I take a lot of pride in that as well. But to accomplish your goals, and to be able to harvest a mature animal and then to do it on public ground with everybody else is extremely difficult. And, a lot of that, like I say, has gone to, being able to adapt to the situation you're in, keeping in the right headspace, keeping positive, and then you just keep going hard and believing you can do it, believing in yourself, and so there's so many different tangents on this podcast. But yeah, that's my head right now, or that's my headspace. Just so many of these little things I'm going through. Scouting, I talked about that. So scouting is so important, getting familiar with your country, finding target animals, finding out where animals I just don't have the time this year. I've got a lot of hunting time, and that's what I have. And so I'm just trying to prepare as good as I can, and Colorado's 13, 14 hours away, even Nevada, 8 hours away. That's a long trip. I just can't do it in a weekend. And so I'm just going to have to prepare as good as I can, and then show up and give my everything on the hunt. Social media. So yeah, I've kind of struggled with my social media lately. I really enjoy it. Like, it is a way to share my photography and share my thoughts and feelings on the daily. It's almost got to be a grind. Like, I've been so busy with everything and handling everything. Like, it's almost like a strain or a stress on me to be able to post something, which is ridiculous. I guess I just need to limit my time. And in social media, I really enjoy looking at other people's photos and giving support to the hunting community. But I just need to be careful with my time. I'll get sucked into that time warp of the social media, looking at things, and all of a sudden I'm in there for an hour, and I've just got more things to work on. And I don't play video games because it's a time suck. I know I'll get addicted to it, and I'll be playing a video game inside instead of like doing all the stuff I love to do, like, fishing salmon flies or trail running or working on my bow stuff or, working on my house. Like, I just got so many other things I have to do, and social media can be a time suck. My phone can be a time suck. Like, those things are addictive. They're so addictive, and I don't want to spend my world looking at my phone. Like, I want to be, when I go out with my buddies, I want to be the guy that uses his phone the least. I want to take in the experience, like the experience of life, and enjoy that, like, as much as I can. And I want to soak in the experience with other people, and whether that's my family or my friends, I want to laugh and have fun and not be worried about sending some email back, sending some text back. And so, I'm just trying to build a really healthy relationship with my phone where, at work, I can't be answering phone calls all day or I don't get anything done. Like, I need to, but I also need to be responsive, and clients expect you to get back to them right away. And so, like, I've just been choosing times. I'll sit down at lunch, I'll fire back emails, text messages, and then at night I'll fire things back. But I just take care of it in this window of time, and then I'm out of that thing. I'm not paying attention to chirps and beeps, and my phone also adds stress and anxiety to me. Like, I like worrying about what the next issue is, and I don't want to be that way. I want to attack problems head on, and same thing with my phone. I just want a healthy relationship with it, and social media. I want a healthy relationship with it where I can support other guys, but I'm not wasting time. I can look at it like I can give myself 15 to 30 minutes a day or whatever the case is, in the evening, and I sit down and I look at social media, I answer guys back, I make a post of my own, and then I'm done with it. And so it's been pretty healthy lately. I will say my content suffers a little bit. For a while there, I was doing Instagram stories, and it was like you're trying to capture, the life you're living, and which is fun. I have this incredible life where I'm always doing fun things, and it's not that big a deal to talk into a camera, but it was almost taking away from it, like trying to get a photo of me trail running, trying to get a photo of me fishing, where I'm, so much, I have a drift boat and I go out with buddies, and I love that more than anything, but a lot of my buddies are guides. They're fishing all day long, and they can't go out in the evening, and so this year I didn't have a lot of buddies I could go out with. I took my daughters fishing, and I took some buddies fishing, but I mean, to be honest, I end up rowing the whole day, and I which I enjoy. Like, you are fishing through the person in front of you, and I love rowing my daughters down the river. I want nothing more. Like, that's the funnest thing I could choose, and even rowing buddies down and giving them that experience. But pretty soon, like, I'm not throwing the fly or setting the hook or playing fish at all. Like, I got to get some me time as well. So you got to have a, there's certain buddies that can row you down the river and have this, can control a drift boat. And it's a work of art, like having a guy in range of the bank and pulling hard on the sticks. And so you slow that guy down so he gets a shot at every little spot a fish could be, and like technically assassinating that bank and swimming that bug and skirting that bug and hucking it under brush. And like, that's fun, and you're picking up trout. But somebody that doesn't know how to row has you in the middle of the river. You can't reach the bank, or they got you too tight to the bank. They're scaring the fish. They're not pulling on the sticks hard enough. You're floating by features. Like, all of a sudden, it's just easier if I row. Like, we'll actually get good shots at the fish, unless they're experienced oarsmen. Now, maybe I'm being whiny about it. Like, I get to spend the day on the Madison. Like, who cares? And I love sharing that with other people. But what I really enjoy too is like going by myself. And by myself is tough to get pictures. Even when you land big fish, like, what? Set your timer up on a tripod and set your timer, and then you got the fish out of the water too long, and like there's all these things to try to capture this photo to show you guys that, oh, hey, I'm fishing today, or whatever the case is. Not you guys, like, just social media. It's this, like, I'm working so hard and I'm taking this time away. Like, same thing. I want to immerse myself in the experience. Like, I'm there to have fun. I'm not there to, and you do, like, taking photos of things and hunts is fun to remember them by. And believe me, I have to set up my tripod, set up timers, but just like the experience, like I get out to fish dry flies and it's really good. Like I'm going to go fish dry flies and not worry about getting a photo or a post or an Instagram story. Like, I want to focus on that. That's fun. So, my views have just kind of changed. I want to keep posting things on social media and, sharing my life. But, at the same time, if it takes away from the experience, I'm going to enjoy the experience and personal happiness and go have fun and live my life the way I want to live it, more so than social media. So, not that social media is a bad thing. I just want a healthy relationship with it and a healthy relationship with my phone. And I don't want to be looking at my phone during hunting season. Like, I want to get a break from that thing. Like, if I'm hunting for the day, like, I may have to check my phone at night, or I know I got to check in with my wife here or there or whatever, but I may have my phone off for days or even weeks. Like, I'm just not going to be caught up in checking things or, adding stress. Like, you wake up and you have a whole day to hunt. Like, say it's your day 4 of a hunt and you have this day to go hard on mule deer, and you turn on your phone and you look at it and you got this work text and something's going wrong and you got this problem. And like, all of a sudden, you've ruined that whole 4th day of hunting. Like, the only thing you're thinking about is that problem you got. How should I handle this? Should I make a phone call? Maybe I can just take care of this real quick and then I'll get back to hunting. You're not being as effective or efficient on that hunt as you need to be. And so I need to just let it go. I got good people in place and they're going to take care of things and handle any issues that come up. And yeah, I may have to look at my phone or handle something here or there, but I'm not going to let it control my day. I'm not going to let it control my hunt. Like, you get 365 days a year, and I talk about like being able to hunt 100 days. 100 days is a lot. I don't know. I get a lot of evenings for bear season and antelope season. I get to spend a lot of time in the woods, and that's where I'm really fortunate. But, how many days do you really spend doing what you love to do? Some guys only get 7 days, 10 days. I mean, a lot of us do, and I was a weekend warrior forever, and I still am. I'm sure I'll have to be at work, and I'll have responsibilities, and hunts will get cut short or whatever, but having that time, and I've planned and dedicated that time, maybe you get a week off, or maybe you can just hunt weekends. Those days are so important to you, and it's so important that you enjoy them and you don't spend them stressed out. So, healthy relationship with my phone is a big one. Healthy relationship with my family. I mean, a lot of the reason I haven't been able to go scouting too is, quality time with my family. And I'm just I talk about that personal happiness. I'm trying to enjoy every single day of life. Like, it is a gift and we have no guarantees. And so, I don't get to do this epic stuff every single day I'm alive. Like, a lot of it is just mundane work, picking up the kids, come home and do dinner and, clean the house and work on the yard or, whatever the case is, and trying to fit in, runs and workouts and things. But, I'm just trying to enjoy every day. Like, I can be a pretty intense person too, intense where I'm always thinking about work or thinking about hunting or thinking about, achievements, and like, I got to relax and have fun. And so I'm just trying to enjoy every day with my family. I'm trying to spend quality time with them, and I'm trying to, really be in a good headspace to have fun and joke around. I mean, I've got, one teenage daughter and the other one's a little bit younger, but, it's fun to joke around them. And right now, to see them happy and laughing, it's so fun. And they've got relationships with their friends and their mom and grandma and me, but just trying to enjoy every day and every moment I get to spend with them at dinner, and try not to, I don't want to spend my whole life stressed out or worried about, numbers of this or, worried about if the podcast is going to survive. You know how the podcast is going to survive? Is me living a quality of life and being able to articulate it and explain it to you guys in a fun and enthusiastic manner. Like, motivating you guys, giving you guys quality information about hunting. And how am I going to give you quality information about hunting? It's like living that life, like actually going on these hunts and these adventures, these blue collar hunts, and letting the excitement and everything, come through. Like, me living an enjoyable life and explaining it to you guys. Like, that's how the podcast is going to survive. Like, it doesn't do me any good to stress over numbers or look at downloads or, I'm going to make mistakes, do the absolute best job I can, look out for the the well-being of the podcast, anything that you love to do, spend time doing it. So I love doing the podcast. I love spending time on it. I love thinking about it. I love having great conversations with other like-minded bow hunters. That's what's going to make a good podcast. Looking out for my listenership and looking out for the content that I provide and the themes of the podcast and pulling up important points. That's what's going to make the podcast better. So, it's living that life. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so, how I bow hunt is also how I build houses and how I deal with clients. And I got this responsibility and you got to take care of that. And same thing with my family. I just want such a quality relationship with them and to enjoy every moment I have. These girls are going to be grown before I know it, to really enjoy my wife and appreciate what she does for me. And, she also supports all this. She encourages it. She lets me go on all these trips, these back-to-backs, and takes care of everything. So, I owe it to her to enjoy it to the fullest, but also just to be happy in everyday life. I've really been focused on that. Just enjoying the trail runs, enjoying every day. I have to work and I have to make money, but enjoy working hard. And then, in the evenings, my time where I can go fishing, I can get my trail run in, I can fit in all the stuff that I want to fit in. So, just enjoying every day. I think that's it. I think covered a bunch of different tangents on the podcast, like always. I really enjoy doing these solo ones and just sharing my exact thoughts and feelings and kind of breaking it down, sharing my final preparation for hunting season. It's so exciting. It's knocking on the front door. It's like right here in front of us. And it's, for me, it's like 6 months of hunting. I go really hard. August is really booked. September's really booked. And then, I got, little October hunting for bulls, and then November it wanes down even more. One Montana hunt, may go out a few weekends, and then may try to fit in that Idaho late hunt in December, and then coos in January, one hunt for a week or whatever. So I just got 6 months of hunting season coming up. And I got myself prepared. The time to prepare for these hunts is now. You get into season, and you get on one of these high country mule deer hunts where you're chasing a 220-inch buck. Your time to be in the best physical shape you can be in was to prepare for that. Once you're on the hunt, you can't make yourself be in better shape. Now, sure, as hunting season goes on, you get your body used to the exertion and you do get in hunting shape. I realize that, but your time to improve on your shooting when you're hunting, it's a chore to just try to shoot every day. You don't have the time and focus and the energy to put into your bow and to put into improving your shot sequence, to really thinking about things. You're trying to walk around with your bow and harvest an animal. And so all this time to improve, this preparation is done right now before the hunts. Right now is the time to put in the hard work and be running like a madman or working out like a madman, to get yourself in shape, get yourself used to the backpack, get yourself used to the mountains, get in the right headspace. Right now is the time to do the preparation for your hunt and the planning and the research of where you're going to go, the scouting to figure it out, to get familiar with country and to run test trips to the mountains and sleep in a backpack and get familiar with it. Your time to do that is right now. Your time to become a better shot and your shot execution, it's right now. Everything is done in this preparation. So the skills that you earn and that you improve on right now are the skills that you go into hunting season with. So the time to improve and get better is right now. And that's where all my effort is, to improve and get better and come into season, as well prepared as I possibly can be to go on these adventures and try to come out on top. So I'm pumped. Fly out in a couple weeks. I'll get this podcast out to you guys, and then I'm not sure the plan for the rest of the week, if we're going to release another one or if this is going to be it. But been trying to put out a bunch of content, trying to work really hard at it. I really appreciate you guys and all the support with the podcast. Things are going really well for me, and so I'm just excited. Like I say, I was talking about improving the improving at the podcast, but it's just thinking about it and working on it and letting that passion come out. So I just want to bring the best content to you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys turn up this season as far as hunting season, and to see some of these trophy critters coming across. Remember to be in good headspace too. Be happy for other guys. Don't let jealousy get a hold of you. Don't be worried about what other guys are doing or other things on the hunt. Focus on you, your hunt, and your goals, and enjoying life. Like jealousy and worried about what guys are doing does no good for you. You know, help your buddies, be excited. Like good friends, good family are so valuable, and so good friends, like for them to be successful is like me being successful, and I really want to help buddies and family out this year, like help my daughters out, help my wife out, and then, you know, and help them get a quality experience. For them, the quality experience is not pushing to your limits and getting to 13,000 feet and be hanging off the side of some cliff. Like, that's not fun for them. Like, I cater the experience for them. And then hunting with buddies is be happy with for them, and really try to help them become better, help them be successful, be part of their successful hunts. You know, having these quality relationships, like they're, you know, these friendships, the guys that you hunt with, like you're just forged in fire, like you're forged in difficulty, like you bond together and have such a tight bond, because you're in these life-threatening situations together, these extremely challenging situations of trying to harvest animals, and those relationships are really important in life. And so, you know, along with this, I haven't really talked about it too much, but I really want to look out for my buddies and their well-being, and look out for their success, and you know, just try to be a really good friend all the time. Try to be there for them when they're in tough times. Try to be there for them if they make a mistake. And of course, a little ribbing along the way is always good. Like a little tough love for guys that's the way we operate, right? So some tough love and joking around, and I'm sure I'll be the heel of some jokes too. But I love those friendships with these buddies like that. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to spending time with buddies and helping be part of their success. I'm really looking forward to this solo trip to Colorado and some of the other solo trips I have planned. Like being able to go out there by myself in the woods again is going to be really enjoyable. I miss that. There for a while, almost all my hunts and all these adventure hunts were all solo before I had a lot of guys that wanted to join in on this and fun. And I love sharing them with buddies, and buddies can make you better on the mountain, but there's something when it's just you one-on-one versus the mountains and the animals, and being by yourself, like not talking to anybody for 8-10 days, just being inside your own head. I learned a lot about myself in those 10 days, and a lot about self-improvement, how I can get better as a human. And like you're alone with yourself that many times, like you stop BSing yourself, like you know who you really are. And so yeah, really looking forward to that as well. But yeah, make sure you're being a good hunting partner, good friend, supporting your buddies wherever you can, helping them out with pack outs. You know, if a buddy calls me, I'm gonna do everything I can do to drop what I got going and help them out, and just be a good friend. Be offering help or offering stocks wherever I can. So, alrighty. Well, that's the solo podcast. That's a wrap. The day's burning up quick here. I better go get my run in. I'm going to go get a big one off the Sphinx today. I think that'll be a good one. Go wear my dog out, or at least try. I've been running in the heat a bunch too. I keep trying to close out this podcast, and then I keep thinking of another point I wanted to make, or another, thing on my notes or whatever. But I have been, really getting myself used to the heat. Like, the more you can prepare yourself for the actual environment you're in. And that's why I like to run in the mountains with elevation, and I feel like I'm in the mountains, and so I'm getting my mental side of things right. But being in the mountains gets you prepared for the mountains, and same thing with the heat. Being in the heat gets you prepared for it. And so I've been working in 90-degree heat, And I've been running in the heat. I've got a black lab. I'm surprised at how well he does in the heat. And I try to plan our run so we cross a creek or a lake or a pond or something where he can get wet and then drink, or get him wet before the run. But he's been doing really good with the heat. But I have too. My body is just so used to it and comfortable in it. I have that sauna too. I always tell you guys about. And in there, you're always just testing the limits of your body temperature and what you can do and how long you can sit in there and how much you can take, and it's so good for you. Those saunas, you create those heat shock proteins that really help your immune system, and they help you deal with heat, and your body's used to sweating and cooling itself off, and so I'm just used to it. Working in the heat, running in the heat is nothing for me. Like, I like a good sweat, but it doesn't matter. 90 degrees, 95 degrees. I don't think we've had any 95s yet, but definitely over 90s. Even in the high 80s for that matter, and no breeze or anything, and running in that heat, I'm just used to it. So this hot Nevada hunt that I'm going on for mule deer up in that high country up there, I'll be ready for the heat up there, that's for sure. But just training for the conditions you're going to face, and trying to be as prepared as you can. So, all right, I better end this. I better go get my run in, tear apart that bow, change out that rest. So I've got a couple more weeks with that thing. Make sure my backup bow's all dialed in. And gosh, I think I'm ready to go hunting. So hope you guys have a good week. Keep working hard towards your goals. And we'll check in with you either later this week or next week. So thanks again, guys.